Okay, the next stage we're going to do is fitting of the support, or the what we call the angle struts. Now, it's quite important just to remember, standing here looking at the garden, left hand side, right hand side, both these struts are exactly the same, except they're orientated for either end of the garden. So what we've done at the top of the strut, we've written an R for right and an L for left. And up at that top end is also quite a large bracket. So what you want to do is grab that strut and you can flick that around so that this larger bracket is at the top, and where we've written the letter R, that's going to go against the vertical support strut on the garden, and the base will be down here. Now, a couple of things. First of all, the screws you're going to use are the 25mm screws with a little black Neo washer on them. To help line it up, what we're going to do is, on the inside here is a L bracket, and you will note that that L bracket's fitted to the strut, but there's two holes here that line up when you sit that into place. And a good way to check is that the front of this is nice and flush and the outside edge is nice and flush with the actual rest of the canopy. So what I'm going to do is just fit one of those screws into the pre-drilled holes, screw that off, and I'm now going to fit one to the top. You will need to manipulate the canopy to do that, just to line that up. Once you've got that lined up, you can screw that into place. Now, to make this really easy, what we have supplied you with is a square drive, which is longer than the other one we've been using, and it just allows you easier access to fit these screws in. Once you've got one fitted in each bracket, you can fit the other one. And that's going to line the strut up where it needs to be. So the next screw that you want to fit in is a 100mm square drive, and that's going to go straight down through the pre-drilled hole at the base of the strut. Like so. And the next component that you'll fit, you got the ring spanner, is the Tech screws. Now, these Tech screws, there's 5 of them at each end of the garden, and these Tech screws are going to fit into pre-drilled holes in the bottom bracket and the top bracket on the inside. Now, we have supplied you with an 8mm ring spanner to do this. I do like to go through and fit the top ones first. You may need to manipulate the bracket a little bit just to line them up, and a bit of pressure on the back of the ring spanner will help wind those in. You can, if you like, before you screw them off, get the other one started. Now, there'll be 2 in the base, and then there's 1 to go in the middle of that bracket, about halfway up. And it is a little tight, but once you get it started, you're away. And now all 3 of them in, I just wind those off so they're nice and snug. Like so. Now that's the top bracket. The bottom bracket is exactly the same. There's 2 that fit in there, pre-drilled holes, and start those off. And before you screw them off, if you like, you can fit the other one, just to at least get it started. And once you're happy, just wind both those screws off so they're nice and snug. Like so. Once you've done that, you've got 2 more screws to fit. One, now is a 100mm square drive, and that screw is going to go in the top at the back of the vertical strut, and where it's actually going to run is on an angle through like that. So you'll see the pre-drilled hole if you just line that up. Screw that in, and the last screw that you have is now a 75mm square drive, so the shorter one of the 2, and that's going to go in the pre-drilled hole at the front. I know you're thinking there's probably a heck of a lot of screws, which there is, but especially for those that have ordered these gardens with the gas struts, they put a lot of pressure on these. So what we've endeavoured to do is really lock these into place to take that strain that those gas struts can cause as you open and close the doors. So it makes them nice and secure, stops them from twisting. Once you've done one of the ends, you do exactly the same process for the other end of the garden. Again, a good double check is L for left, which is at the top. Once you spin it around, will orientate this strut correctly for you. So I'll work through now, and I'll just put the strut on exactly the same way as I did at the other end. Okay, T screws again. And you'll have 2 left for the base. Right, once you've done that, that's the fitting of the left and right angle struts. Now you're up to the next stage.